Hello, I'm RJ City, and you are listening to the MonsterCast. You're going to talk about Bela Lugosi. They're going to talk about Lon Chaney Jr. be so sad, holding his hat, saying, "Please put me in this room and don't unlock the door." And you can't do any better than the Dahl brothers. Jack and Ryan, they're brothers, but they're also bros. What? Pardon? Wrestling. Well, who the hell wants to talk about wrestling? These are horror movies. It's a deep genre. It's a smart genre. Fantastic actors. Fantastic cinematography. Wrestling is just sweating and fireworks and bouncy ropes. There's nothing to have. You talk about that every week. All right. Let's see them try. Take it away, you crazy dolls.
You. Jesus fuck my fucking ass. What the fuck? Please shut up.
No. Master Watto is a
shut
champion.
up.
You're gonna put some respect
Stop
on his
fucking
name
saying
now.
Master Watto on this fucking show.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Co-Champion.
What's up, you guys? Sean Rossap of Fightful here. You're watching the MonsterCast with Jack and Ryan. A big shout out to those fellas. Good people. Check them out.
Oh my god, what is this?
It
Who
looks
is
like a
making
TV.
the New Japan titles? They need to stop making
It like
titles.
a TV, bro. They took it too literally. That's the problem.
They should have just turned it into a TV. I would have been more impressed.
That would have been cooler.
Put some
Make
antennas
it-
on the top.
No, just make it like a digital title. Like you could display whatever you want on the
Oh,
digital.
like an
title.
LCD screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then have
That'd be
the
sick as
picture
fuck.
of the person that's the champ. That'd be so good.
Oh fuck.
That'd be worth it.
Wrestling podcast. How fucking original.
Jake and Brian. Brandon Cutler here from AEW, and I hope you guys have an awesome podcast with the MonsterCast. What was that? Your name is Jack and Ryan? Shut up, Jack and Ryan.
Tell me who you would sign first.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
No, not overall, genius. Between the two goddamn examples I'm about to give you.
Master Watto.
Killer Cross or Dominic Dijakovic, who are you signing first?
Killer Cross. 100%.
What the fuck?
Absolutely.
Wrong! That
No,
answer is
I would.
wrong.
I would.
Oh
Killer
my god.
You don't know shit! Your opinions suck!
I guess you're welcome.
Fuck,
See,
I'll boo it.
I don't think I've ever said boo.
I will.
That's so stupid.
I'll do it. Boo! Boo! You don't actually say the word because that's why it sounds weird. You gotta, it's like more of like a note. Boo! You don't fucking actually say boo. Boo! 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 You don't turn it into a fucking chant. You actually have to.
I will. I'm gonna do that at Forbidden Door.
You start a boo chant. Boo! 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 Boo!
Here's your hosts of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster Jack and Ryan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the MonsterCast. I am your host, the Straight Edge Monster Jack. That over there is Ryan Rockwell. He is getting excited because he's going to Forbidden Door 3 this weekend.
I do not like traveling.
What?
I don't like traveling. I'm not excited.
You're excited. You're excited.
Yeah,
Get to see Swerve versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I just
You get to have nobody sitting next to you, of course, for your nachos or whatever your blue burger or whatever the hell you're gonna get. Your Irish nachos.
my lobster mac and cheese hot
Yeah.
dog that I saw the other day.
All those food items that we're definitely gonna try at Forbidden Door. We've got. Okay, so before we get into it, because we're gonna talk about Forbidden Door first to start this off, right? So,
Yes.
out of the matches that are announced right now, as someone who is going, what match are you most looking forward to as of right now? Now, of course, we got the go home shows this week, so I don't know if somebody could change your mind or not, given a passionate promo or something. But what you got going on? Which way are you leaning?
Shingo Danielson, probably. Maybe Ospreay Swerve. That one's obviously up there.
Now, we both know, though, that Shingo's not winning. Yes.
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I knew Okada wasn't winning when it was Danielson Okada. I don't care. Moxley Naito should be good too. There's a few good matches on there that I'm like.
I keep forgetting about Moxley Naito, honestly.
Yeah.
And do we want to do quick? Okay, so because you're leaving Saturday, I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit in a full prediction show before then, because obviously we'd have to wait till after Dynamite. So at earliest it would be Thursday morning. Now it would be up to you, obviously, if we do a prediction show Thursday morning, or we can do quick predictions right now and just don't do confidence picks for the matches that are announced, and then add in other picks as they're announced, because obviously TK announces shit for 0 hour and everything literally the day before. So what do you want to do?
I could probably do Thursday morning, just to make sure that we're not missing any on that should come up on Wednesday.
All right, Thursday morning it is. Okay, so match I'm looking forward to the most as someone who's watching it at the house. I don't know why my headband is being weird. I got one eyebrow covered and one not. There we go. There it is. All right. As someone that's watching it at the house, I'm gonna go with I think I have to go Ospreay and Swerve, honestly. I have to. Because I legit do not know who's gonna win that match.
That was probably most people's. I think the MJF Hechisero one is interesting, but I'm like 99% sure MJF is gonna win. But they could pull some shit where he doesn't. That'd be, I don't know. We'll see. What else is on there? I can't remember. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, the Zack Sabre Jr. Orange Cassidy match is on there too. What was that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot the Mercedes match. Mercedes and Stephanie McCare. Yeah. Ladder match should be all right.
Ospreay and Swerve, I'm way more excited for that than the two women's matches, but I am excited about the two women's matches.
You're not excited about the Learning Tree match?
No, I'm not. In fact, I just wrote on Twitter not that long ago that if Jericho's team ends up winning, I don't know if I'm going to watch the rest of the pay-per-view. Because there's no reason that Hook, Shibata, and Joe should not win that fucking match. They should definitely be on the trajectory to be fucking trios champions. Like, don't put that trio together if they're not going to be fucking trios champions. Like, what's the point?
They definitely shouldn't lose their first trios match together or whatever. I think that'd be weird. And this might be. I think it's.
Well, it won't be their first because they just had one against.
You know what I mean, though, like their first.
Yeah, pay-per-view. Yeah, like an actual program. Yes.
Yeah. But I think it's the Learning Trees too, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's all tied into the original Hook versus Jericho storyline.
I don't know how you have, and this is no slight on Brian Keith and Big Bill, but you have Brian Keith and Big Bill on a team against Samoa Joe and Shibata. I don't see how you have the Samoa Joe and Shibata team lose. That's weird. That would be very weird to me.
I mean, every time we break it down, well, how do we break it down? We break it down one versus the other, right? So Joe over Jericho. Brian Keith and Hook is pretty much a wash, honestly, if we're being real. I think Keith is a better wrestler than Hook. And then Shibata obviously over Big Bill. So yes, that team should definitely win. Just the way that they've been presented by Tony Khan and AEW anyway.
Could have Tony Nese run out there and interfere.
Do we really want to continue the varsity athlete storyline though? Like that was the whole point. I thought that was the whole point of that happening on Collision or whatever. To get rid of that. But no, I'm excited for a lot of the matches individually, but I just don't see myself more excited for any of them more than Ospreay versus Swerve.
I think Danielson Shingo might be match of the night, but we'll see because Osprey Swerve is obviously going to be really good too.
Yeah, Danielson Shingo might be match of the night until Osprey Swerve goes on the main event, and then no one's gonna be talking about Danielson Shingo.
I don't know, man.
Let's be real here.
Shingo does not have many bad matches.
Okay.
Danielson definitely doesn't have many bad matches. Will Ospreay's match with Brian Cage was
what? The match was great.
It wasn't bad. It was just it was a match.
It made me want to see them wrestle again. Honestly, I was like, man, if I could get them to fucking actually push Cage to be something, and this match was on a pay-per-view, that would be fucking insane. Because then he could even be doing more shit. Because I mean, let's be real, Brian Cage didn't even get to do half the shit that he can do in that match because obviously they were trying to push Ospreay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we got Lucha Underground Brian Cage right there or PWG Brian Cage right there. We got Ring of Honor Brian Cage, and that was still good.
I saw a lot of people like talking it up. And so when I went and watched it, I was like, maybe my expectations were too high. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after the fact because people were saying the match was really good. I was like, it was okay.
I thought it was really good. I wanted to see him fight again. That's how good I thought it was. So it's whatever. But I filed that under the whole aspect of like, you know how you were talking about how you used not to be a fan of Zack Sabre Jr. because everybody would just have to wrestle a Zack Sabre Jr. match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I feel like Will Ospreay didn't wrestle technically a Will Ospreay match. He did his shit around the bigger guy. That made it make sense when Ospreay's usually the bigger guy, at least recently, just because of how much he built his body up and stuff. But he was still like building himself around what Cage does. So like it wasn't like he was doing shit that didn't make any sense or didn't look like he could do to Brian Cage, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that one like slam spot off the
slam spot was awesome. I don't know the Jack Cassidy, the real Jack Cassidy account or whatever the fuck. I usually agree with most of the stuff that he says, but no. And then he said, "Don't ever do that again." Are you fucking kidding me? It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't bad at all.
His head was coming. I mean, he was pretty close to his neck, but
it wasn't. It wasn't that.
I feel like
maybe Brian Cage didn't realize how heavy Ospreay was,
yeah,
or something. But it wasn't even close to being a botch, in my opinion.
That's what I was gonna say. Is if you have anybody doing that spot, you kind of want it to be Brian Cage because he's strong enough to like just fucking yank your head to safety.
Yeah, because like if something happened on the ropes, like we were in fucking Scotland, or you know a rope broke or something, like he would be able to still protect Ospreay just because on pure strength alone. It's literally Brian Cage and Claudio, and then I probably don't want anybody else trying it, but it was not even close to a fucking botch in my opinion. And the stuff that Ospreay and Brian Cage usually do in their matches, way more dangerous than that spot was.
Are you getting tired of the Ospreay takes a big shot, hulks up, hits a fucking forearm, and then dies spot yet?
No.
I feel like he does it too much. I'm not turning on Ospreay or anything, but there's a couple things in his matches where I'm just like, do we have to do this every fucking match? Like, can we not just save this for bigger matches? We didn't.
He's wrestling a lot more often though than he did in New Japan, so maybe you just didn't notice it as much in New Japan. Maybe he was doing a lot of the same stuff, or maybe it just didn't feel like he was doing the same stuff because his matches in New Japan were like fucking 40 minutes long, so he was doing a shit ton of moves. So by the time the match was over, you're like, oh, that specific spot that he just added into his shorter matches now looks more prevalent because he's having more matches and they're shorter. So if he's working that same spot in, it's a little bit different than if he's working 30-minute Okada, Jay White, Kenny Omega matches, Shingo matches, you know, stuff like that, Shota Umino matches where they're all long and he's doing his whole repertoire in there. And then what the moves that you see a lot are the Stormbreakers and the attempts at the Hidden Blade and stuff like that. So maybe that's why it's more prevalent to a lot of people.
I feel like ever since the Kenny Omega kicking out at 1 at fucking Revolution spot, that there's just like so many. And I understand he's not the first person to ever kick out at 1 or anything, but especially within that company, he's kind of started that like, oh, it's like a cool spot that'll really pop the crowd if you get hit with something big and then you no sell it just long enough to hit something big of your own, and then whatever. But not a lot of people do it, but Ospreay does it a lot.
If we're
and I
talking
noticed
about
a
just
lot.
because of the spot where it happened, where it was a Brian Cage Collision main event match, then sure. Now, if that was a Brian Cage pay-per-view match, like I said, I wanted to watch.
I'd be fine with it in a pay-per-view, but
Yeah.
like, what are we doing?
Or even if he did it to the Drill Claw at the
on a
pay-per-view.
television
Like,
match
if it was
that you're
like a
gonna win in
really
11
insane
minutes,
match.
What are we doing?
We're talking about 20 minutes in. No one understands what the hell's going on. Brian Cage actually looks like he has a shot because he's been built up before this match, obviously, because it's pay-per-view.
That's not
And
a
then
big
he
deal.
hits the fucking drill crawl, and we all think it's over, and this motherfucker gets right up, then yes, obviously the place would go absolutely ape shit.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
All right. Let's talk about something else that a lot of people were bitching about. That I went off on somebody on Twitter about. This Jeff Jarrett in the Owen tournament. A lot of people seem to have a problem with it. I assume that you're not one of those people.
A lot of people don't know ball. I don't know what to tell them.
I can't take anybody seriously who, when I'm going through my timeline and someone said, "Oh, I just realized that Wade Barrett was a wrestler back in the day." Can't do it. Can't do it. This is the same group of people. Like, don't fucking sit there and comment on Jeff Jarrett, why he shouldn't be in the tournament if you don't know anything about the history of Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart. On this very show, a year ago, I said that Jeff Jarrett and Dustin Rhodes should have been fighting each other in the first round of the Owen Hart tournament. So we already know how I feel about it. This is long overdue for Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett and Dustin Rhodes at the time of that tournament were the only two that even had matches against Owen Hart.
Well, Jarrett brings it up. I don't know if it was because I had already watched the 9-minute version of the interview. So when I watched it on Collision, I skipped the short ones. I don't know what they kept in. But in the 9-minute cut, he actually specifically says, like, out of everybody in the tournament, I'm the only fucking one that actually knew Owen. So what are we doing here? Like, and I thought that was interesting because it's true.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I don't know about... Okay, so if Natty ends up leaving WWE and comes right over, and let's say she doesn't come over because she got to have the 90-day no compete clause. Obviously, we don't know when her contract actually ends up. But let's say it lines up close to Owen Hart Cup next year, and they throw her immediately in there as maybe the women's wild card next year or something like that, right? People are going to bitch because Natty fucking didn't deserve the spot.
Yeah. It's weird that they have the Jarrett match against a wild card. Because I think everybody was expecting at some point for that to be Ricochet. But they can't announce it because he's not technically
seen a lot of Hangman Adam Page requests for that spot as well.
Yeah, but if you do that, then Jarrett loses.
Yeah, but Jarrett's losing anyway to the wild card usually in AEW. I don't want him to, but
I think he should probably go to the final.
Look at my most recent tweet under the Real MonsterCast. I literally tagged Jeff Jarrett, and I put the gif of Major League when he said there's only one thing left to do. And I said, what's that? Win the whole fucking thing. Let's fucking go. I'm going for Jeff Jarrett. I hope he wins the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah. I don't, but I hope he gets to the final.
Oh, I do. I do.
I think it'd be a little too...
It's the same thing. It's the same concept as All In last year when I said I want Saraya to win just so I could see the internet burn down. Same shit. I want to see these fucking people that don't know wrestling. Let's go. Jeff Jarrett. I mean, the only problem with it, honestly, is the All In attachment for the main event. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But if that attachment wasn't there, I do feel like there would be a spot, especially after the promo he gave. And then, of course, the 9-minute one that you're talking about that got released afterwards. If they had that and then no attachment to the All-In main event pay-per-view based off of who won the tournament, there's a good chance that TK would have changed his mind and be like, you know what? This would be cool as fuck if Jeff Jarrett won this thing.
And I can see him wanting to do it as just like a sort of similar to the Sting retirement thing. It's like, you've done a lot for the business. We'll give you something cool on your way out. Like, I get it from that point of view. But look at the fucking murderer's row of people in this goddamn tournament. It's Claudio, Pac, Danielson, Takagi, Ray Phoenix, Jay White, Jeff Jarrett. There's no fucking way. You can't, like, he kind of booked himself into a weird position by having such a strong tournament and then having the Jeff Jarrett promo thing come out where I was like, oh yeah, a bunch of people actually want to see him fucking win. Against who? Jay White? No way. No fucking way. How do you do that? Aside from having like interference from whoever the fuck they're feuding with now. It's always someone. So I guess you could do the interference angle.
You know what? Patriarchy's talking about going after the trios titles, right? Why don't have the patriarchy interfere? Christian was a huge fan of Owen Hart. Why wouldn't he want Jeff Jarrett to go to the next round and then fuck over the trios champions in the process too?
Okay, so then it's Danielson versus Pac. So which of those two are Jeff Jarrett beating? Not fucking one. No way.
No, but I'm with you on the whole, hey, let's get him to the finals. If we can get him to the fucking finals and then have his moment in Calgary because the finals are in Calgary, he can lose and still get the applause and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Because that's.
But like you said, the booking into corner thing, I mean, kind of did that with the wild card too, because we don't know who the fuck the wild card is. But usually in AEW, the wild card's winning.
Could be Dustin.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so sick. He would be so
everybody
pissed
would be like,
everybody
would just be like, why the fuck didn't you just announce it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, exactly. That people would be pissed because of that. But yeah, that would be crazy.
Could be Natty. No. I've heard people say they think it's gonna be Hangman, but if it's Hangman, him and Swerve don't have no reason to go after Hangman right now. So you can't even do like the Swerve interferes and fucks him over thing. And I feel like Jarrett has to beat whoever it is. I kind of wish they had just done like Jeff Jarrett versus Ray Phoenix, or I don't know.
What do you think the purpose of going ahead and putting Ospreay versus Swerve this early at Forbidden Door was? When Ospreay said at the scrum after he won the international title that he would like to have been in the Owen Hart tournament so that he could go to All In after he found out that was the thing. Wouldn't that make more sense though?
Ospreay's a wild card. He's trying to get all 3 belts.
Yeah. Wouldn't that have made more sense though? Instead of like pulling the trigger on that match already.
Depends on. So looking at everybody that's in the tournament, who is wrestling for the world title at Wembley? I think Danielson. I think this is the end of his little full-time run or whatever.
So they wanted to be Ospreay versus Danielson possibly instead of Swerve versus Danielson.
TK might have finally gotten his fucking head and been like, hey, like just take the fucking belt for like 3 months, man.
By the way, what would have been cool is let's say Ospreay wins it. He goes all the way to All In. Danielson beats him for it, which doesn't make any sense to me because, Ospreay is going to be the man there.
All right.
Then you also lose the potential of Danielson versus Nigel at All In, which Nigel looked like he was ready last year with the pics that he was posting, and he's still killing him on commentary. And that's a match I would love to see.
Ready to wrestle.
But the other thing is that you have to think about is, who does Danielson drop it to? Does he drop it back to Swerve like in Seattle because they're both from there? On Danielson's way out?
No, he drops it to Claudio.
Because at Wrestle Dream, the very first Wrestle Dream was in Seattle, so I don't know if TK is going to go back there or not for the second one, but like that could be something.
I think he should drop it to Claudio. So there was an interview that came out not that long ago where Danielson was talking about how Claudio should be the AEW World Champion. He wants to see him as AEW World Champion one day, blah, blah, blah. And then after that fucking Pac match, Danielson was on commentary, and they started to tease a little bit of tension between Claudio and Danielson, where Danielson was like, hey, man, it's okay. Like, people lose to fucking roll-ups. It's whatever. And Claudio just, like, wouldn't fucking talk to him, looked pissed off at him, whatever. It's like, oh, what? You got something to say? Like, whatever. So they're teasing something there. I don't know what that build looks like going forward. I don't think they break up the BCC or anything, but I think you could do a scenario where Danielson wins his tournament, wins the belt, and then drops it to Claudio. Could do that. We'll see. There's a lot of cool things you can do when you got an 8-man tournament full of a bunch of people that could all realistically win, except for Jeff Jarrett, but people want to see him win, so it's a good setup.
All right, what do you think about the women's Owen Hart tournament then?
I was kind of not thrilled to see Deeb go out so soon. But when you have her against Willow in the first round, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. I think having Willow and Chris this early is weird. Why not have that be the final? Unless there's gonna be some bullshit fucking.
Maybe he thought they would give it
DQ.
away because a lot of people wouldn't believe that he would have the same person win it 2 years in a row. So maybe he thought they would automatically assume that Statlander was going to win the tournament final.
Maybe, but also it could just be they're setting up for a later rematch by Stokely interfering or whatever, and then they're like, "Fuck it, like we're gonna make sure Stokely can't interfere. It's gonna be a women's cage match because you don't see a lot of those." And I feel like if you got two people in that company who could do a women's cage match, those are definitely like pretty high on the list. So, could be something like that. It would make sense not to have a fuck finish for the final, but it makes more sense to have a fuck finish for like a second round. So that's kind of why I think they're doing it early, but it still seems a little weird because you could just have them in the final and not do a fuck finish. So who knows?
So do you agree with the consensus that it's probably Mariah May that's going to win this whole thing?
It seems like they're setting up for her versus Tony at some point. So especially depending on what happens at Forbidden Door, like if Mariah May has to make a save on like a post-match beatdown or some shit like that, or stops Tony from cheating, or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But yeah, I mean, that seems like the most logical thing to me too. And even with the Willow Statlander thing, whoever wins that, you could have them like get hurt in that match and then fill that injury in the final, and then it's still the other person's fault that they lost or whatever. Or you have Statlander lose the match by DQ by smashing the shit out of Willow's leg with a chair, and Willow puts up the valiant effort on one leg but loses to Mariah May. There's a lot of things you could do that make sense with that booking, I guess.
The only bad part about the whole thing is that as someone who really was hoping that Jamie Hayter was going to come back and take the title off of Toni Storm, no one seems to have any idea what the hell's going on with Jamie Hayter right now. So, where do you fit her in when she comes back? Does Britt come back with her? Because obviously she's been taken absent with Adam Cole's injury and shit like that. So, like, where the fuck do we fit Jamie Hayter in? Because you could still have it where Mariah May wins, goes all the way to the final or whatever, or maybe even at Forbidden Door helps. She could help Tony, and everybody thought she was going to help Mina, but she stays heel. And then because the tournament won't be over by the time Forbidden Door is here, obviously the tournament's not going to be done until later. But at Forbidden Door, Jamie Hayter could come back after Mariah fucks over Mina, because Jamie Hayter used to be in Stardom too. So Jamie Hayter coming out for the save after the fact, after the betrayal by Mariah May on Mina, would get her the huge pop, and then everybody would be like, "Oh shit, Hayter's fucking back," and then have a way for Hayter to come out and cost not really cost Mariah May, but like stop them from cheating, so Mariah May could win the final or whatever, and then give it to somebody else. Something like that. I don't fucking know. Or somebody magically gets hurt in the tournament and Hayter takes their spot against Mariah May in the final. I mean, I just don't know what they're gonna do with Hayter and how close she is to returning. So it really fucks with me because I'm like, I really wanted her to be the one to take it off of Tony. And I understand that everybody loves Mariah May or whatever, but I don't think that storyline is hitting like everybody acts like it is. I think Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm would have more heat to it than Mariah May versus Toni Storm right now.
I think the problem with it is that there's not enough tension, in the sense that Mariah May is always, her character is always very good at like playing both sides very equally. So there's not really a lot of tension as to her like leaning one way or the other.
But we could get that at Forbidden Door though. Like that could really start building depending on what the hell happens at Forbidden Door.
So I think it's
agree with
not
that.
hitting because they started it too early.
Well, that's
So they
true
had to
too.
wait too long.
But
to do
All
the
In is
10
also a
part.
long way away.
Yeah. We'll
But
see.
that would be like a really nice shot into it if she does end up turning on Mina, and or the other way around, one or the other.
Mhm.
Because if they are planning on having her go and win the whole fucking thing and go against Tony at All In, then hey, she helps Tony or whatever. But then like Tony fucking still attacks Mina after the fact, and then that's when like what's her face, Mariah May like spins her ass around and like, oh fuck no, or something like that. We gotta have something happen at Forbidden Door between Mariah May and Tony Storm, one way or the other, so that we can try to figure out what the hell's going on with the storyline going forward.
Could be something simple too, where there's a spot where Shirakawa throws Tony over the top or some shit, and Luther's there to catch her, but Mariah
It'd be
fucking
easy. It
moves
could be as
Luther out of
easy
the
as
way.
just a miscommunication that she could play off again, and then we really get nowhere because they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it was just miscommunication or whatever. You still have the title, or me and Mina are still friends or whatever." She understands that it was just a miscommunication. She's going back to fucking Japan anyway, so like, whatever.
Mm.
So I mean, there is a possibility that we still have no more answers than we did going in after Forbidden Door, but I'm hoping something happens to really kickstart whatever program, whichever way they're going into gear. All right. Now, at the end of the show last week, we had a viewer come in and comment what we thought of the Wyatt Six thing because of what happened at the Clash at the Castle thing, where everybody's did the QR code, I guess, or whatever, and figured out the puzzle, and it was supposed to be they're going to debut on Raw. That was what everybody thought. I did not see the comment until after the show because for some reason my OBS did not display it. So I apologize to whoever that was that came in and asked the question. Our thoughts on the Wyatt Six. Then, of course, on Raw, the Wyatt Six did debut at the end of Raw. So I guess we can give our thoughts on the whole thing right now. So Wyatt Six does show up after the show went off the air, and Jey Uso was in the crowd. So Jey Uso's in the crowd, and that was funny because Jey Uso had taken over the Firefly thing or whatever for a brief moment. He gave it back in the online digital exclusive, which was hilariously done. I thought that was good. He's like, y'all can have it, just don't mess with the wife. Like, don't, I'm giving it back to you. Don't mess with me or whatever. All right, so there's a few ways that we can address this. Obviously, we know who's in the stable right now. We know who they're considering possibly putting in the stable in the near future. Sorry, Konami's going nuts because he sees birds outside. And we know who the sixth person is right now, which is considered Bray Wyatt's spirit. He's the sixth person, but there's also a possibility that they could add in Alexa Bliss as the sixth person later on. How did you think it was done? What did you think of the way it was done? How it was shot? Who's in the stable? All that kind of stuff. Are you interested to see where it goes? Or are you more interested in seeing what the hell happened to everybody that they seemingly murdered, even though Chad Gable is now cleared to come back into his triple threat match magically?
And it looked like he got shot in the fucking head. Yeah, okay, couple things just right off the bat. I don't really care for Joe Gacy. I think it's weird to have somebody whose character used to be a cult leader be a cult member. That's weird to me. I already know how you feel about Cross. Like you think Nikki Cross is all right?
I mean, I thought she looked the coolest out of everybody that was on there.
I mean, as a wrestler.
Oh, I like
the thing
Nikki
is,
Cross.
yeah. Like I think she's an all right wrestler. Let me think. Dexter Loomis is okay. Redbeard's back. Okay. So the problem with groups like this is that why would, just from like a storytelling point of view, and this is the same issue that I always kind of had with like not Bray Wyatt as much, but I mean it'll make sense as I'm explaining it. Why are these people wrestling? Like why what is the motive for this group of creepy supernatural people to come to a wrestling ring and pin people on the mat 1, 2, 3 and like abide by count out rules and like within the rule set and confines of pro wrestling, sometimes shit is a little bit too far beyond it for it to make sense for them to even be there. And I feel like that's going to be a jarring thing with this group because they're not going to be able to go every week and just kill people backstage. You're going to have a wrestling match at some point. And how many fucking and no hate to him or whatever, but how many Eric Rowan matches do we need to see? How many fucking Joe Gacy matches are you going to be like, oh, I'm so excited to see that because he's a part of the Wyatt Six? And then also just these people, why do they care about wins and losses or like having belts or any of that shit? Why wouldn't they just all come out and fucking murder whoever's in the ring? Like every time one of them has a match, like there's a level of the supernatural spooky whatever the fuck shit where I don't think it belongs. I think it's too jarring. It doesn't really fit. And I got that way about The Fiend, especially after that goddamn Hell in a Cell match. I don't know. I'm not crazy. I don't know if I'm not trying to sound like a fucking hater or anything, but like I don't care about this at all. Do you?
All right, so I'm excited about it, but here's the thing: is what I said on Twitter. The only way that they can make this work is if they don't put titles on them, because then you book yourself into a corner. Have them come out there and destroy everybody every time they come out. The people that they went after, quote unquote, were supposed to be people that turned their backs on their family. That was the whole point. Chad Gable turned on Otis and whatever and turned heel or whatever, so they attacked him. Gunther turned on Giovanni Vinci. So like if they're attacking certain people that turned on their family, there's a reason why, like, and the other thing was like everybody's talking about them possibly going after Jey Uso, so that you can't really tell if they're heel or face. But Jey Uso technically turned his back on the bloodline or whatever at the time. Even though he did it because he was getting pushed to the limit, he still technically turned his back on his family. So if they're literally doing something specific where they're attacking specific people because of an overarching thing that connects all of it, like you turning on somebody or whatever, and we all know WWE loves having fucking people turn on people, then you have no shortage of people that you could go beat down because of it. Then I'm cool with it. But the point where you're talking about the rules and the confines of wrestling, that really only would matter to me if it's for titles. You cannot put titles on anybody in the stable. You can't. Because of the way that they just literally debuted, where they were unstoppable and took out 40 fucking people and they couldn't get stopped by these people. If you do that, then you're going to set yourself up for another fucking Hell in a Cell-like moment where you booked yourself into a corner and you're going to have to fucking call Lesnar Goldberg to come fucking take the title off of them. Or do some stupid spot like you were talking about the Hell in a Cell where the refs stop the match in a Hell in a Cell match. You cannot do it. You just cannot put titles on this guy, on this team. Now the problem is like WWE loves to oversaturate shit as well. Okay? So like
That's how you sell them
I don't have very much faith in the fact that, hey, this group was only going to show up around certain times of the year, like a SummerSlam, like a Royal Rumble, like a WrestleMania, or whatever, because they should be utilized like Andre the Giant was back in the day as a special attraction. And we all know that WWE, once they see those money signs because of merch sales or something, they're going to try to keep pushing this shit on your TV multiple times and having 3 and 4 segments a show, and then it's going to get watered down real quick. Now, there is a way that this could work. Do I have faith in WWE to do it that way? No.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is, again, I'm not trying to fucking hate on anybody in the group or anything like that. Who's the best wrestler in that group?
I haven't seen Bo Dallas wrestle in a long time. I would usually say him, but I'm going to have to say probably Nikki Cross.
Right. Okay, who's the best male wrestler in that group?
Oh, then probably Bo Dallas, but I haven't seen him wrestle in forever though. That's the
The
thing.
best wrestler in this new stable is Bo Dallas, and it's a 5-person stable. It's not hitting for me. I don't
think there's gonna be too many singles matches besides the Naked Cross stuff. Obviously, if she has matches, I don't know if there's gonna be too many matches at all, honestly. But I assume that it's gonna be a lot of 6-man tags and 8-man tags and shit like that.
So they show up, beat the shit out of people backstage, and then somebody comes out to the ring. Hey, I don't like what you did to my friends. You come out here and wrestle me. And then they come out, and then they wrestle, and then they win, and then what? Like, what are we building to? A fucking WWE versus Wyatt 6 invasion storyline where they all have to band together their strongest fucking warriors and take out the Wyatt 6, of whom the best wrestler is Bo Dallas? It's just it doesn't work for me, man. The fucking bloodline could kill them. And they got goddamn Tonga Loa. So what are we doing? I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but it doesn't matter because Bloodline's on SmackDown anyway.
Oh, but the Wyatt 6, they're supernatural. You telling me they're not grounded enough to go work on a fucking Monday or Friday?
All right. Well, speaking of Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu debuted on SmackDown for the new Bloodline after much anticipation and rumors that he had been signed or whatever, and they didn't want to fucking debut him because he was going to look better than Solo, and they were scared. Yeah, no shit. You know why? Because he's better than Solo.
I believe you mean Wolf of Tonga. And also...
Dude, do you think they're going to let him keep the Samoan Werewolf nickname? Because that would be so sick. Because it's like one of the coolest nicknames in wrestling.
He's already got a shirt with werewolf on it.
Yeah, so?
His new shirt has a werewolf on it. So I'm pretty sure they're letting him keep it.
Like, how the fuck does anyone look at what Jacob Fatu did on SmackDown and look at the fact that he's going to be called the Samoan Werewolf and not already assume that he's cooler than fucking Solo Sikoa? He's cooler. He's a better wrestler than anybody in the group right now already.
Yeah, but the way that they're doing it, like the whole bloodline thing, to lead it, you have to be like cool in the calm and collected way, because Roman has set that standard, and Jacob Fatu is not calm or collected, so he's gonna be like the bruiser wild card, whatever the fuck type thing. That's how they're positioning him. Okay. So I'm assuming Hikuleu comes in at some point for them too. Because the problem with Hikuleu is he's got such like a baby face that it's hard for him to not be a baby face.
Well, it's gonna be very hard for him to like do the mean expressions and shit like Omos. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
So I was actually thinking, like, what if Roman calls him in for their side, you know? Because then you would have a family on each side between Solo versus the Usos, and then the Tongas against each other. Because Hikuleu, I believe, is one of their relatives, right? I always fucking mix them all up. They're all over the place. But I think he's one of theirs. If not, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he is. And then it got me thinking, I was like, well, if they put him on the other side, that's 5. And then on the Bloodline A, real Bloodline side, you got Roman, the Usos, who, I don't know how the fuck he's going to convince him to be back on his team again. It's like, oh yeah, help me get power back, because I did so nice with it last time. Don't know how that's going to make any fucking sense. But I hope they don't pull in, like, Kevin Owens and Sammy. Like, I don't want to see that shit. I don't need them to run it back on the whole fucking thing that they already did. Like,
I don't think it'll be Kevin Owens. I do think Sammy will be there.
As a favor to Jay? It's like, oh, you're...
As a favor to who the fuck? Everybody liked Sammy at one point in that group.
I don't think that it would make any storyline sense for Jay or Jimmy or Sammy to ever fucking help Roman. Who gives a fuck if you lost your little empire? We told you that was going to happen. It happened to you. Fuck you. Like, what are you doing to redeem yourself here? Maybe he grabs The Rock. So it'd be Roman and The Rock.
See, I want The Rock to be on the good side too, but the problem with that is that The Rock is not doing a War Games match, bro. I don't think he's going to do a War Games match. But I do fully expect The Rock to be on the good team. Like, it's going to be Roman, Rock, Usos, and Sammy will be the 5. But I don't think The Rock is going to be doing a fucking War Games match.
You can absolutely play him in a War Games match. The way that you do it is you have him take like a big fucking table spot or something, and he just lays down for like 10, 15 minutes.
Make him come in last.
That too. He takes a big table spot. He takes a little fucking rest, and he comes back in for the final sequence of the match and does a little "I'm a superstar" power up bullshit, and then helps them secure the victory or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think there's ways around it too, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that don't think he'll do one just because of the risks involved, because of the way WWE has been doing their War Games matches with all the weapons and shit. I'm like, just don't have weapons in it then.
So you just have him take the table spot.
Yeah, on the outside of it before he comes in or something. Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I fully expect it to be The Rock, Roman, the Usos, and Sammy as their 5, and then of course when Hikuleo comes in, he'll be the 5th person on the other side with Tama. I was gonna say Tama and then Tonga, but that's the same person. Because you say it too fast. So I'll do Tonga and then Tama, and then Hikuleo. That's 3, Solo, and then Jacob Fatu. So that would be the 5 versus 5, which would be awesome. I want to see that, but
you know who's missing?
It's not even close when you do the whole thing we were just talking about that we do with AEW all the time, where we match up who's on each team. It's not even fucking close.
Roman Reigns versus
only wrestler that even has a shot.
Fucking Bo Dallas versus Roman Reigns, man. What are we talking about? Crazy. You know who is Tongan, who I have not seen in a while? Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah, you won't see him. You will not see him in WWE. You won't see him. You know, he would be a really good bodyguard type dude, like a Big Bubba type deal back in the day. Like, he would be awesome as in that role, but he's not going to be in no fucking match.
But you have him do the spot at War Games. The Rock comes out and he comes out behind him, power bombs it through a fucking table off the stage, and then he just leaves. It's like, oh my god, who was that? Oh, Cole, I think that was Bad Luck Fale. He's a big friend of Tama Tonga and Takaloa. Okay, cool. And then they just never talk about him again. Who knows? Where the fuck is LP during all this? He was letting your boys fight.
Now you put Bad Luck Fale on the outside for the bodyguard for them, and you put Rikishi on the bodyguard for the good side for the outside of the War Games. Like, just go all in. Or Haku on the Haku instead of Bad Luck Fale, and then Rikishi on the other side. You could do that.
Yeah. Well,
what the hell is Haku's problem? You could get Cody. You could get Cody on Roman's side.
Yeah, I saw somebody saying that too, and I was just like, he's got no reason to do it either, because Roman tried to fuck him many times, so I don't think so. I don't see any scenario where they play the story out, not the Bloodline versus Bloodline one, because I think we all know how that was going to go. Roman's going to end up on top, whatever, and he should. But as far as the Wyatt 6 thing, like, whoever we're putting against them for their final climactic arc of we've taken over all the shit and now there needs to be a big team WWE group or whatever. Again, the best guy, the best wrestler in your fucking stable is Bo Dallas. So we don't have to put together a fucking super team here. It could be like your best tag team.
They're not gonna have two. They're not gonna have two men's War Games matches anyway. There's gonna be one female and one men's. So I don't think the Wyatt 6 are even gonna be in a War Games match, honestly.
You put Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in there by themselves, a fucking 2v4, and it'd be fine. They'd win. I think that's why I am. If there were better wrestlers in it, like with better credentials, better like title history, better. I don't know, man. It's not working for me though. We'll see how it plays out. I'll give it a chance. Right now, it's not like
I said, I
I'm
think
not
the only way that they can work
I can't wait to see what the fucking Wyatt 6 do.
The only way it can work is if they are seldom used And when they are used, it makes sense with whatever they just did when they debuted, where they're taking out people that turned on people that they considered family or friends or whatever.
Oh,
It's the
so
only
Seth
way that
Rollins
it
is
can
on the
happen.
list for sure, right?
It's the only way it can happen. Other than that, it's
Ro-
not. There's no titles involved, nothing. Like,
So
they're going to
hold
fuck
on.
themselves over, is what's going to happen.
So Seth Rollins is definitely gonna be on that list.
I mean, if we're including all the way back to the Shield days, then yeah, sure.
Whoever turned on anybody ever, right?
Randy Orton will be on the list multiple times. Kevin Owens will be on the list multiple times. Like, yeah, I sure.
Bad sneak. Bad sneak. No, I don't know if Owens will be.
What?
He only turned on Jericho, and they weren't really family.
He turned on
And
Sammy
then he turned
multiple
on Sammy.
times.
He turned on Sammy a couple times, but Sammy kind of deserved it.
Oh yeah, Sammy deserved getting turned on the first night of Kevin Owens
The
NXT run.
Yeah,
How?
because that was okay. Kevin Owens was always the more accomplished indie guy, right? El Generico was, he had some good matches or whatever, but he wasn't like a top of the card guy like Owens was during his like Ring of Honor runs and stuff like that. So Sammy coming in and sort of taking the shine off of Kevin's is very selfish of him. And I think that it was fair for him to get his ass beat for it.
Yeah, well, you're incorrect. So that's not even an actual. That's
I'm
dumb.
trying to understand. Look, just because
He wasn't in the fucking. He wasn't in NXT so much longer than Kevin Owens that would warrant a beat down the first night.
Well, that's
Sammy
the point.
finally won the fucking title.
Yeah, he fucking just got there relative to Owens.
That's
and
called
won a
jealousy.
title.
That's not called comeuppance for Sammy. Sorry.
No. Sometimes you gotta know your place.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong.
No,
that's like saying that you're kind of compared on the same levels of why Eddie Kingston was mad at Moxley. Like, no, fuck no.
Also fair.
That part is fair because he was gone for fucking years and Eddie never got to WWE, not a couple of months, and then I still got to the same spot that you were at anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
Okay.
That's so bad. That's not a good comparison at all.
Who else did he turn on?
Well, yeah, Hikuleo is apparently coming soon. I don't know what his name is going to be, but
Talalonga, baby.
Talalonga, here we go.
Apparently, it's supposed to be a play on his
Good luck
his
to the announcer when they come out, I guess.
It's supposed to be a play on his real middle name, which is Taula, Taula. It's not just that he's taller than everyone. So there is like more to it than just he's tall.
Okay.
But Longa Tonga was very funny to me.
Well, I mean, they're both funny, but there's definitely one that's better than the other, and Talalonga is the better of the two evils. Because neither one is great, but I much rather prefer Talalonga than Longa Tonga.
Krakatonga is gonna hit like fucking.
Papa Shanga.
Oh, What is he, Dominican?
They're gonna have to bring Haku back and call him Papa Shanga. You're gonna paint his face like God. Oh shit! All right, I don't have anything else. It's gonna be a short show today, so we're
okay.
We gave our terrible takes on everything.
Okay, I will say this: I thought Collision was kind of mid.
Yeah, but it'll probably still get better ratings than Dynamite did this week.
You know, a lot. I saw so many people talking about the Collision ratings, and they're so fucking stupid and out of touch because they're like, "Oh, everybody's blaming that Kendrick Lamar concert. Nobody that watches AEW was watching the Kendrick Lamar concert. I fucking was."
Oh, I saw a lot of people. I saw a lot of people come out and say that they watched it over that. I saw people like Andy, who fucking runs WrestleJoy, say he almost watched he considered watching Kendrick Lamar over AEW. There's people out there, yes, they definitely. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. I don't really care about the numbers anyway anymore. But yes, they're to say that there's no crossover there is asinine.
I don't think people understand how many some of the shit I was saying is like, oh, it's like fat pasty white dudes watching AEW. They don't know who Kendrick Lamar is. Do you have any idea how much fucking crossover there is like in black communities and then pro wrestling? Like, are you fucking insane? Like, In the Clutch is one of the like bigger channels for reacting to like both of those things. Really, they react to music and also to pro wrestling. He has a fucking Ross on there has a show every fucking week for pro wrestling reacts and stuff. Like, there's a lot of crossover in these two communities. I don't know where the fuck they get this idea that like black people don't watch wrestling or like people that like hip hop don't like watch wrestling. I fucking like hip hop. I like rap. I kept up with that whole fucking goddamn Kendrick Lamar Drake thing from the start. And when I say from the start, I mean from Control, not from fucking like that. So this, I don't know, like the delusion that people had talking about, oh no, like that's not why. Even though they were still number 3 on cable, when they're usually number 3 on cable, they kept the same ranking because the decline was like over all of cable. So what are we talking about? People trying to downplay that and act like it didn't have an effect. I know it had an effect because I didn't fucking watch Dynamite live because I was watching that. And the reason is I knew I could DVR Dynamite. And there wasn't like anything on the card that I was like, oh, that's going to be crazy. But that concert, I had no idea who was going to show up. I knew like there could be all kinds of, I didn't know Absol was going to show up. I thought he might because obviously he's got a lot of history with Kendrick and stuff. But I figured Schoolboy Q might show up. I wanted to see that. I didn't know Tyler the Creator was going to show up, but I thought it was really cool that he didn't and that I saw that live. There was a lot of shit on there. It was like a surprise. And if you hadn't watched that live and you just gotten it spoiled before you watch it on Twitter or whatever, it doesn't hit the same. So no, if I know I can just not get spoiled on Dynamite and go watch it after versus shit streaming on Twitch or Amazon, and I don't know how the fuck I'm going to watch that after, or even if they're going to host it or anything like that, like for like watching as a VOD later. No, of course I'm going to watch the other thing. Of course, every time. I watch Dynamite on DVR. I don't give a fuck. So no, people acting like that didn't matter were just delusional. So yeah, I'm sure the rating this week will probably be like back up to 700 or whatever. But even if it's not, I don't give a fuck. Why do I care what their rating is?
I mean, trust me, they're making enough money in merchandise sales that they don't really need. Like what are we talking about here? Like the consumer, the main consumer of the demo that everybody goes after, and the reason that they go after that specific demo is because those people have their own money to go out of their way to buy things that are being advertised, which is why advertisers love the 18 to 40 demo or whatever the hell it is. Because those people are more willing to spend their money on products. So little kids, you can be a little kid PG show, but kids don't have money. Yeah. Kids have to get money from birthdays and Christmases, and their parents have to buy their shit. So if the parents aren't watching that shit with them, then it's kind of pointless because they're not going to know what the fuck's going on. So it's not even that big of a deal because the rating in the 18 to 40 still wasn't as big of a drop off as the overall number was, as far as it dropping down to 500,000 or whatever. So
yeah,
I agree. Like, it's dumb to keep talking about it over and over. I understand that the numbers have to come out. Part of me is actually kind of glad that Raw is going to Netflix, so maybe we can stop talking about dumb shit like this because it really doesn't matter. Because as long as you're making money, and as long as advertisers are still willing to put money into advertising around your show for your commercials or sponsoring your events or what have you, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Prime,
Mountain Dew Pitch Black,
fucking the mini WB movies that they do crossovers with in AEW, the
House
Texas
of the Dragon
Chainsaw Barbed Wire Massacre match or whatever the fuck it was called.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, House of the Dragon. They had a Mortal Kombat? They had a couple video game ones. They had one like a dragon or whatever one.
Yeah, like a dragon. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they've done a ton of crossover stuff. They had Godzilla versus Kong when it came out. They had a match for that. So yeah, I mean, like, if the people are still willing to put the money in sponsor for your shit, then it really doesn't matter what the fuck the ratings are. Honestly, obviously they're good enough, and you can't tell me that even if it was 200,000, if you're still number 3 on all of cable,
yeah,
then who gives a shit? You're still number 3. Like, the numbers don't matter as long as you're in that top 5. Like, if you drop out of the top 5 and it's for a consistent period of time, then we can start talking about, okay, something's clearly wrong here. But dude, if you're 500,000, and even though that's way less than what you usually are, if you're still number 3, then we have nothing to discuss. There's nothing to discuss here.
Yeah. I feel like people are combining the build to Forbidden Door has kind of felt like a holding pattern, like waiting on some shit to play out. Because it feels like they kind of started some stuff like a week or two early. The Owen Hart stuff, you have to wait for the tournament to play out to really see where that's going. So like there's stuff where it does kind of feel like we're just waiting on the real thing to happen. And I think they're confusing that, or they're conflating that down period of booking with the aberrant rating number and being like, oh look, Tony's ruining the show or whatever. It's like, I don't. You're fucking dumb.
Yeah, but the thing is AEW did a great job on their go home show last time, so I'm hoping this week they do the same thing, because when you have Bully Ray over there talking about something, I feel like I'm watching an infomercial, not a go home show. Like, that's literally the same thing, you moron. Like, what are we talking
they're
about?
trying to
That
sell
shit
you.
was
What
so
do you do?
stupid.
It's the
Like,
same
that's
motherfuckers
literally
always
what a
talking
go
about.
home show is.
Same motherfucker always talking about promos should be selling you to buy the big event. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
What you
and it was like, I feel like I'm watching an infomercial for the pay-per-view instead, for Double or Nothing. I was like, yeah,
when you
that's
were
what
watching
you're doing.
fucking Hulk Hogan come out on Nitro before Bash at the Beach, what do you think you were watching? It was an infomercial for fucking Bash at the Beach. It's like, here's why you should watch the pay-per-view. It's the same goddamn thing.
Yeah, I do like that he's going after the WWE people now, though. That was funny.
Oh, fucking Gareth or whatever.
Gareth, yeah. Gareth's dumbass. Like, I think he's starting to finally realize that AEW
gets shit that it shouldn't sometimes.
Yeah, and that WWE has dumber fans. The anti-AEW WWE fans, I mean, are like so
dumber
stupid.
and like coordinated on being dumb. Like, it's very weird. It's weird how much their messaging aligns on shit. Like, one of them will make up some weird, like, Tony's booking bad right now thing, and then all of the rest of them, like, little fucking, they just pick up on it, and they all start regurgitating the same shit. I don't know what their source is.
Like,
that
they're trying to create their own algorithm to show up on everybody's shit, basically.
Yeah, it's
because it's all written similar, so it's going to show up on people's timelines. If you react to one, everybody else will show up. That's why I fucking blocked Jobber Nation, JD from NY, Gareth,
I've got them on mute.
DJ Storms.
Because, like, sometimes people will quote tweet them, and I'm like, all right, let me see what the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like that, because then I have to see their shit anyway. But at least it's still not as bad as like looking at all their fucking tweets. But yeah, somebody had just posted like DJ Storms or some shit, and I was literally thinking about that dude the day before to see if because I blocked him so long ago. I was like, is he even still around doing stuff? And then someone literally posted a screen grab of one of his tweets, and I was like, well, there we go. Still an idiot. Fucking like 3,000, maybe more subscribers on YouTube, but only gets like 18 views a video. I'm sitting there like, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
You can buy them.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like, that's my point. So it's quite interesting to see all these people fail. Brad Shepard, another one that I blocked a long time ago. Yeah, just wrestling versions of shock jockers that are fucking dumb and don't actually have anything potent to say.
Who's that one guy on TikTok? Xanti Sap or Xanti Zep or whatever the fuck.
Xanti?
Yeah. He's not as bad, but
he's not as bad, but he does say some stupid shit.
He says some shit sometimes where I'm just like, bro, just shut the fuck up. But yeah,
I think I blocked Raj too, but I'm not positive. I still see his stuff pop up every now and then. He was getting bad too.
Yeah.
Somebody had made fun of him, be like, hey, I don't see that Raj complaining about that lack of video package for Jacob Fatu. How the hell is Raj supposed to know who this is?
How do we know who he is? You think anybody watches MLW, bro? Yeah. Always hypocrites. But here's the thing with that, though, and I will say this about the Jacob Fatu thing specifically. The thing about introducing new people for Bloodline is that when they show up and somebody says their last name is Tonga or Fatu or Uso or whatever the fuck, you know why they're there. You know they're related. Well, how much of a package do we really need? This is not, you don't need a bag. Oh, it's just another one of their fucking family members. Whatever. So.
Alright. Sorry, he's fucking going nuts at these fucking birds out there. It's fucking ridiculous.
You're good.
There's a shit ton of them in the yard. But anyway.
Yeah, get a cat.
But yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up.
Let's fucking do it. Forbidden Door 3 Go Home Show this week. And, of course, Fallout from the YF6 on Monday Night Raw. I almost said Nitro. Monday Night Raw, because I've been watching the Nitro documentary. By the way, once that last episode debuts Tuesday night. I think it's only a 4-parter. So they got one more. We'll discuss who we think killed WCW. The real
spoiler.
no bullshit version.
Spoiler.
Nash.
It was Nash.
But yeah. So we'll talk about that. It's interesting. It's an interesting documentary, but it's going exactly how I thought it was gonna go. To be real with you.
Point fingers like the fucking
Yeah, exactly. No one actually taking any kind of fucking responsibility for shit.
Yeah.
You can already kind of see where it's gonna go, where Eazy-E is gonna say, well, if they would have just sold it to me, I would have been able to make it survive. And no.
That or him complaining about Hogan's contract. Who wrote the contract? What do you mean?
Yes, all things we'll be discussing. Forbidden Door 3 predictions coming up on Thursday Thursday morning, so we'll be doing that. And then, of course, Ryan will be going to watch Forbidden Door, as I will be watching it live. We'll obviously have our thoughts and review on that as well. And, of course, Money in the Bank is not too far out either, by the way. So, a lot of stuff coming up in wrestling. And, of course, the G1 was announced as well, so we'll talk about that soon also.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Yep.
Hopefully everybody has a great rest of their week. I'm the Straight Edge Monster Jack. That's Ryan Rockwell. This has been the MonsterCast.